Welcome to Gold in the Grit, a podcast about real life, real relationships, and the meaning hiding in the mess.
We're Audrey and Kristen, sisters, therapists, lifelong listeners, and deeply trustworthy secret keepers.
This isn't therapy. It's honest conversation, grounded perspective, a little humor, and the reminder that you're not broken. All right. Well, welcome to the podcast. We're so happy you're here. It's really been years in the making.
And not because we didn't want to do it, just life kept happening.
Yeah, a lot of life has been happening. So, I mean, realistically, you reminded me earlier today that we've been talking about this really since we were kids. What show was it again? Dr. Love?
The Love Doctor on MTV.
The Love Doctor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, back
I
in the
remember
days
being
when
like,
MTV was like all the rage, right?
yeah, where we'd stay up until midnight to watch it, and then the callers would call in and they'd have problems, and we were like, we could do that.
Yeah.
And
But
now we are.
we didn't know at the time that we were going to end up being therapists, right? To where we actually, or maybe you did.
I mean, there were some tells when we were kids.
There were some tells, right?
Do you remember when we had our day beds and they were like this, and I had you lay on your day bed and I sat at the other end and I said, "Tell me how you're feeling today."
Ooh, that was very Freudian of you.
My approach to therapy is very different these days.
Yeah, but that's true. So realistically, we've been talking about it forever, but more seriously, for probably 3 years, we've been talking about we want to do a podcast, and then got more serious about it probably a year ago. We recorded
when we bought all of the equipment.
We bought all the equipment, and
Dove right in.
I did a ton of research on platforms and how to do it, how to get things set up, how to upload it. We recorded probably 3 or 4 sessions. And then here we are a full year later, almost to the exact day where we're going back into it and ready to record again.
Yep. And hopefully it works out this time.
In the midst of raising 2 wild boys, sometimes feral boys, I wonder. But also at the time, I was running my own private practice, but I had been doing that for such a long time and felt really burnt out, which is a whole other episode to talk about burnout. But I was feeling that need for a change and didn't know what it was. And so that was taking up a lot of space for me too. But over the summer, I took a position at a nonprofit that I feel really passionate about, but there's been a lot of adjusting to that and working full time at a nonprofit versus working for myself. And so I've had a lot of things going on, and that's just scratching the surface for me.
Right.
And I know it will be for you too, but I mean, you've had a lot going on too.
Yeah. I mean, I just kind of woke up one day and was like, I don't think I'm going to be a therapist anymore. I think I'm going to be an esthetician.
I mean, but it tracks though, because you've liked to do beauty things since you were a kid.
Yeah. I mean, it for sure tracks. It was just, at 40, right? I just was like, going to go back to esthetician school. And so while operating my private practice and working full time, going back to school and then adding in all of those hours and
of course raising and riding your horses.
Oh yeah, that too. And just life in general, right? I mean, there's always something.
There's always something, right? And we're sure that our listeners can relate to that, right?
Absolutely.
But, and in the midst of it all, we're like, let's add a podcast.
Let's.
And so let's just be real. Like, we're coming in even on this first episode feeling some frustration, right? I mean, we've been building up to this the past couple weeks. And last week we tried and we were having tech issues where you couldn't hear anything at all.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden had a massive allergy attack or whatever was going on for you.
Yeah, I think I used like 30 Kleenexes in the time that we were on,
In the time
trying
that we
to
were on, we're
pretend we
like,
were going to record.
right. So we pivoted and we worked more on the episodes and what we were going to do and all of that kind of stuff. So we still put time in, right? But then today, I'm coming in with a little bit of a stomach bug from my children over the week. And I'm like, we're doing it. But then we've had a lot of technical issues and difficulties again today and can't get Kristen's microphone to work. But we're here and we're deciding to just do it anyway. I took some of my
the
fires. Yes, we're finding the gold, right? And I took some of my fire cider, which, I'm hoping
Like
that's going to help.
Yeah, like Roman says, Mom, you're trying to poison me.
He did say that. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to help you get rid of your sickness quicker.
Yeah, or we decide we're going to do it when I come there because I live in Colorado and you're in Michigan.
Right.
And so we're like, oh, we're going to do it. But then the kids want to play and then we're pulling out WWE wrestling moves and jumping on the trampoline. And then they're like, that's boring. That podcast is boring. So
right.
The timing's never 100% right.
No, it's not ever going to be 100% right. We just have to do it. Sometimes things can feel true, like you're supposed to do this.
Other people figured it out, so we will.
It's normal for there to be some glitches along the way. And we're coming in without shaming ourselves about it, but we're still finding the humor in it. Why don't you talk about how things kind of shifted to get us ready, like the ping?
I was driving in my car and all of a sudden I was just like, hey, what about that podcast? And then I think within 30 minutes, you messaged me something like a whole thing about podcasting and how we needed to get back into it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just 30 minutes ago was like, oh, we should start our podcast again. And here you are reaching out and, inching it along.
Yeah. And so there are some synchronicities here, and we're not trying to convince anybody of anything, but this is what happened. Well, then as we're messaging each other, I'm like, oh yeah. And also I want to learn a little bit more about AI and how that can help us with some of the logistics in growing it and creating social media content and all of the things that we don't have time for.
And I think I started talking about, like, I just saw something about that for AI over 40. And we started talking about that platform. And you were like, oh, yeah, I signed up for that. And great. Take it for both of us.
I had already signed up for the free course to just see some of the stepping stones with it. And then I'm like, oh, yeah. And also feeling like it's time to make that children's book we've been talking about.
It's time to talk about Gary.
Right?
3 things all at the same time.
So I think I ended up calling you and I was like, are you serious right now? You just got all 3 of those things today within this past half hour. And so that just feels way too coincidental, way too
serendipitous,
right? Which sometimes life just is. And so this message comes in. I still feel the excitement about it. I've felt excited about it for years. I want to do it.
I want to do it too. It's just really frustrating. I don't even know how to use DocuSign appropriately, which is very clear now starting up my new business. The bank has asked for the same document 9 times. And I'm like, oh yeah, I think I got it this time.
Oh man. So I'm handling a lot of the tech logistical things.
Which is also a great strong suit of yours.
I mean, I would not say that it's my strong suit, but
it's a stronger suit.
It's a stronger than yours suit. So it feels exciting, but it also feels overwhelming at the same time. This is just one of those moments where it feels like just got to follow the rabbit.
The rabbit.
I mean, we follow rabbit holes sometimes.
Yes, we do.
Some people might be like, oh, there's no way you got all of that at the same time. But other people might say it was a telepathic ping. And
Yeah. I think those things have happened to us throughout life. Sisters understand that connection.
Probably, I would think in a little bit of a deeper way. There's just
Yeah.
certain connection points that
Yeah.
you have with each other. And we've been pretty close throughout our lives, minus a few little blips on the radar, which is a time for a different episode too. We're just leaning into trust that people will get something from it. You had related it to the Dear Abby articles that win the newspapers. For all you young listeners, this was in the time of the newspapers.
Or in the magazine, like you'd get Cosmo Teen, and it would have all the little questions that you'd ask about relationships.
Or life. Very open to listeners sending in questions or life things that
Scenarios.
am I the asshole? Any of
Maybe.
those things. So we're going to talk about a lot of our life things, but we want to share and talk about your life things that maybe you want some perspective on. Now, to be clear, we are not giving therapy.
Nope.
Nope.
We're giving a nice, grounded perspective
of the things your therapist might not say to you. Or we're going to help you find the gold in it, or help you find the perspective that maybe you're having a hard time seeing. So we're going to hope that our audience can help us to turn this into our vision, hoping that AI can help us to fill in some of those gaps and help us stay organized, help us
definitely
do some of the things that are not our strengths.
We're both more creative, artistic, messy.
Yes. Which is interesting that we both ended up in more structured therapy fields when we're both creative, artistic people. But I think that's also part of the reason why we've both made some shifts and some changes. Readiness isn't linear, and time isn't linear.
Time is definitely not linear.
Does it even exist?
Sometimes I don't know.
And it's all happening at the same time.
We could get into some real interesting conversations about that, but our perspective might be a little different than what people are ready to hear about.
Well, and the intention is to still be grounded in some of those types of conversations. So we can look at it from the human perspective, we can look at it from the psychological perspective, and we can also look at it from the multidimensional perspective and anything in between. But we hope that what we talk about here can relate to different listeners, regardless of where they fall within that there can still be the little nuggets of gold for a lot of different people as they're listening to it. So that's the goal. And realistically, even if nobody listens to it, and
we're still going to have fun.
We're still going to have fun. We're still two sisters having a good time, shooting the shit, laughing about things. If that's where it lands, then I don't feel disappointed about that. We have a lot of seriously funny conversations that we're like, man, that would have been a great podcast episode. So maybe we'll catch some of those moments.
Yeah. And even if 40 years, we're going to be a couple little old ladies trying to figure out our computers and how can I watch that video recording of me 40 years ago? And we're just going to laugh at
tried to make a podcast.
I hope that's not what we really sound like.
Oh, yeah. I don't expect that. I probably won't read listener comments very often for anything other than things to use for the podcast. There's no intention of reading critical comments and taking it personally. Like,
yeah,
that's not mine. That's yours.
Right. Your eyebrows don't look right.
Well,
whatever people.
Yeah, they're gonna tell me I've got terrible eyebrows, right? You never know. People will come up with anything. I don't like your voice. Well, okay, then find a different podcast. And that's also your sovereignty to choose, right?
Absolutely.
So we'll see what happens. And we've got this creative idea about Gary, who's my adopted Russian cat.
Gary's got some interesting things going on.
He does.
We can't give too much away, but
he's got quite the story. There will be series about funny things that Gary does, but just also ridiculous.
But also with some of Gary's issues and us being therapists, there's a little bit of like, want to fix Gary.
Yeah, he's got some trauma.
Gary has trauma.
And rehoming that needed to happen. And I, with my big, generous heart, was like, I'm going to take Gary in and I'm going to heal him. And I've tried just about everything to heal Gary.
You have tried a lot of things. I think it was a little more than that. I think it was a little bit like, I want a Maine Coon, and Gary's affordable. I did want a Maine Coon. I mean, they're beautiful. They're big. They're generally beautiful.
Generally beautiful. They're big, they're social and friendly and loving and just majestic cats. I need a cat. And so normally Maine Coons are $3,000 and up. And I found Gary, who needed to be rehomed. But we're getting off track. Gary is his own episode. The point is that Gary has some trauma, and we've tried just about everything except for an animal psychic.
Which I think you should totally do. I've used those on my horses.
I mean, yeah, I'm planning to. I just haven't done it yet. So we got to see what Gary's going to say.
We're really not going to know for sure until we talk to the psychic.
It's very true. So there's also the big shifts that are happening right now. So whether astrology resonates for you or not, or if you think it's just a new year, new things coming in.
It gives some language to different seasons in life. Instead of just saying, hey, we've got a new year, we say, we have the year of the horse.
Yeah. And we've liked that stuff since we were kids too. In the Chinese restaurants, looking at the placemats of what our year was.
And the year of the rat.
And the tiger.
Oh, yeah.
So that stuff is just kind of fun. It's kind of interesting. Of course, maybe it's not an exact science, but when you look into some of it, it fits.
Some of it resonates.
Some of it fits. So for those of you that know that, or for those of you that don't know that, we're coming into the year of the horse, and movement and momentum and freedom.
It's just like riding. You have to jump on before the horse takes off. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind in the grit. From personal experience.
We've all had a few falls.
Yeah. Yeah, you have. We can talk about that later. The year of the horse does not necessarily mean it's going to be an easy year. They can be pretty dramatic animals.
They can be. So it's still going to probably be a little bit of a bumpy ride. But I think last year when we were recording this episode, or well, not this episode, a different episode, almost a year to the day, we were coming into the year of the snake. And we went in with full belief that this is the year, but the snake is about shedding. And it was a really deep year of reflection and healing and shedding old versions of ourselves that needed to die so that we could turn into the new versions of ourselves. And we're like, we're going to do it. And the snake was like, nope, you need to reflect more.
I feel like we did.
We did, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, a lot. And I feel like totally had new versions of ourselves that came out of it. Left what I had been doing in private practice for a decade and shifted into a nonprofit where I can still help to support people, but I'm doing much more creative things too. And having a community around me and support around me that fulfills me and makes me feel good about what I'm doing. And so many other things within that too. Whew, we could do so many episodes about the shedding that happened in 25 alone. And you're coming out brand new career. You're leaving your old version behind too.
Trying to anyway, if things ever line out.
Well, that's just how it goes. We're not looking for perfection.
The horse doesn't care about being pretty. That's a human thing, right?
Yeah.
They're happy to just be dirty and...
Yeah. First thing they do is go roll in the dirt or run and get their hair completely full of burrs after you've just brushed them out. But
Hmm.
there's going to be a lot of momentum and a lot of movement, and that's what we're hoping for. And really, it kind of feels like if we don't do it now,
We're never going to. And then you look back on life and you're like, oh, I wish I would have done that.
Mhm.
That's not
Yeah.
going to be us this time.
Nope. That's one of deathbed phrases. I wish I would have done the things that I wanted to do. I wish I would have done the things that I loved or that made me happy. And of course, I wish I would have spent more time with my family, which this allows us that too, because it is hard with you being in Colorado and me being in Michigan. We do a good job of staying connected, but I feel like this is another way for us to do that and to get something, in our relationship as well.
Another perspective that my husband always talks about is the process of things. And sometimes I'm a person that I'm like, I'm here and I want to get all the way to the end goal. And so I get really, really focused on the end goal and let's be successful. And if you're only looking toward the end goal, then you're not enjoying all of the small milestones in between. And even though those things are hard, those are the things that make you appreciate what you end up accomplishing later on. And so that's going to be a really rewarding thing for us. I mean, all of these mistakes and all of the ridiculous tech things and frustrations, then when we do finally get it correct and we feel really fulfilled in this, we're going to look back and be like, okay, all of those things were frustrating at the time, but they were all part of what makes it so much more rewarding. And you can apply that to so many areas of life.
100%. Even as you talk about it, I'm trying to remember where it came from. I think they actually did some research on that. People think that it's going to be the end goal that is what is going to make them happy, and that once they get
Hmm.
there, they're going to have this level of happiness that they've been
Hmm.
wanting and searching for. And then when they get to it, they might feel it, but very temporarily. And then it's
Hmm.
like, well, I need the next thing. And this
Right.
is my next goal. And then maybe they can get kind of stuck in that trap or that loop of always thinking it's going to be the next thing. When they looked at it, it really was the journey and all of the stepping stones across the river to get to the other side that really, when you broke it down, was what was giving them the happiness and the fulfillment. I can't quote where that research happened because my mind doesn't always remember the names of the people and the names of the research, but I remember they did a study on that. There's going to be the moments where we're like, oh my gosh, I cannot. I mean, we were at a point even before we jumped on this that we were like about ready to throw the towel again today. And I
Yeah.
was
I
like,
mean, it's just those dogs. Heck,
yeah, we started recording and Kristen's dogs start barking at
nobody even
nothing.
knows. Nobody knows.
Nobody even knows. But I was
And
like, I got ready for this.
and I'm like, I gotta go ride my horse.
Right. Kristen's like, I gotta be somewhere. I have an appointment with my horse.
I do have an appointment with my horse, and he's important.
He is important. He's the sweetest boy and he
But
deserves your visit.
he does deserve my visit. But just like as an example of going through the process. So obviously I get to talk about horses. You said so in the beginning. That was a whole thing because I bred this horse. I bred his mother to have him. This is my next show horse. So I've been talking about it. I've been dreaming about it. And throughout the process, Kurt has just reminded me so many times the end goal is not taking this horse to a horse show. You don't even enjoy that much. You already have accomplished the goal. You had a healthy baby. You projected exactly what you wanted. I touched his mother's stomach every single night and said, you are going to be a beautiful, healthy boy that looks like your mother. And that's exactly what I got. And so the goal was to have a new best friend. And that's how I have to look at it, and not looking at it as, well, how far along is he in his training? And when do I get to go show him? It's showing up. It's talking to him. It's being with him. It's watching him grow. It's just like all of our dreams. We just have to watch them grow, go through the process.
Also, I would say that horses have a very good way of helping us to be in the present moment, because that is always where they are living. Even when you or thinking about your end goal for him, when you actually are with him and in his presence, he brings you back to the here and now, which
Right.
is really where all of us need to be living, is in our present moment.
Right.
Because if we're trying to live in the past, present, and the future, then
We're not living.
things can get real jumbled up real quick
Right.
and feel regret or anxiety or whatever it might be. That's also something that hopefully this year of the horse is going to be teaching us, is that presence in the moment, be here, be now. And we're hoping that old karma stays gone for good.
Yeah, there's no guarantees.
We're glad you're still here with us.
We're glad.
For sitting in some of the grit of what we have been dealing with as we have tried to produce our first official episode here.
Just take what resonated, release what didn't. So we'll see you next time. Still curious, still laughing, and still finding the gold in the grit.